Just like this episode's Flash Challenge, the contestants are beginning to feel different levels of pressure all weighing on them at once. And as a viewer, I'm feeling the same because it's getting hard to send people home. Let's do some shop talk. Before I get into this though, I just want to say a huge thank you because I've actually been getting some decent traffic off these videos, and that's mind-blowing to me. And I couldn't be more happier. That's a dream. I do this for fun. I don't have any expectations for it. Especially with how crazy my life has been the last couple of years, I've been pretty limited on the content that I can put out. So now that I have more time and I'm actually able to dedicate it to more content, I'm excited to see that people are actually engaging with it. It makes me super happy. I've been getting really awesome comments from people, and it makes my day every time I see it. And so I just can't thank you enough. And to my recent subscribers, Bry Meyer, Aria, Bricksloth, and Supermum66, thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. I don't know if you guys are all subscribing specifically for my shop talk videos, but I think I'm gonna start putting this up on social media to thank you guys separately there also. So if you follow my Instagram, I'll put that in the description below. I'm gonna start using that more now that I feel people actually might care. But again, thank you guys so much. Honestly, it makes all of this work and everything I'm doing so worth it. And I'm just excited to be able to engage with you guys about this stuff. Back to business. So as I said, the contestants are really starting to feel the pressure, and because now all of the best people are left, it's definitely feeling that way as a viewer as well. And of all of the challenges thus far, it was Japanese Day that began to finally stumble some of our top people. So let's discuss that, because it definitely impacted the scoreboard in some interesting ways. But before I break all of that down, let's remind ourselves how we got there. So everyone's reacting to Pon's elimination, and poor Gion is in mourning. Luigi has lost his Mario, and he couldn't be more upset about it. He is shooketh. Katie's definitely feeling the weight of having to defend herself in the bottom so many times. And I believe it was Bob who made the awesome observation that only finalists and winners are left. And now the final push to the finale is on. We only have a few weeks left, so it's really getting crazy, and I'm enjoying that. So going into the Flash Challenge, the contestants get told that this week's episode is composition. I've been waiting for this one because it's definitely a fundamental, and also tends to be one of the harder ones for our contestants for some reason. And to test composition in the Flash Challenge, they're doing the Glass Pane Challenge, where they have to create masterpieces with different glass panes stacked on top of each other like a living Photoshop image. This Flash Challenge was also done in Season 10, Return of the Ink Masters, and DJ is extra worried about it because his team totally bombed it. So everybody draws skulls to get randomly placed in both teams, and here's who we ended up with. Team 1 is Tony, Angel, Bob, and Gion. Team 2 is Katie, Anthony, Jason, and DJ. Very interesting mixes. And as the teams are brainstorming, everybody seems to be having great ideas. They're getting to work. But I just loved them showing how DJ was pitching his to his team. Like he came off like he was high as hell and just pitching about stuff being in universes and buildings and castles floating everywhere. And people are looking at him like he's insane. But I gotta tell you, I was picking up what he was putting down. And quite frankly, some of the people eyeballing him are some of the people that did a cartoon restaurant art cactus in the last artistry Flash Challenge. And so if I were them, I would pay a little more attention to GJ, who's known for composition, artistry, and illustration. So I'm glad to see that they decided to run with his idea. So Team 1, which was Tony, Angel, Bob, and Gion, did a floating heart and a desert scape with a living room inside of it, which doesn't make sense, but I loved it. And it was really trippy looking. The depth is incredible. The background really is kind of whatever, but the room inside of the heart just really plays with your eye, and the heart looks fantastic. I really loved it. I thought it was incredible. Team 2, which was Katie, Anthony, Jason, and DJ, did a castle floating in the clouds with orbs all around it, and I thought this was mind-blowingly good. I loved it so much. It was just so ethereal and fantastic and just amazing. And DJ, as somebody who comes up with it, like, you just know he smokes a bunch of weed, right? Like, he does a lot of stuff, I'm assuming, because he comes up with the craziest, most artistic stuff. And I just feel like you're not doing that unless you're opening your mind a little bit in some other ways. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was great. I loved it. And I would be fine with either one of these winning, to be quite honest with you. I thought they were both fantastic and incredible, and I would have been fine with either one of these teams taking the win. But who happens to get the win again? This is ridiculous at this point. But Gion wins again. I couldn't argue with it because, again, both teams did so great. But then the team that happens to win is Gion again. I just can't help but think that it's ridiculous. Not in a bad way. Again, they deserved it. But I mean, it's like he's won like every Flash challenge. It's just insane at this point. So Gion, Tony, Angel, and Bob get to assign skulls as a team, which makes alliances very fascinating this episode. Because as we see, it looks like Angel is clearly pawning it up. She's aligned with whoever benefits her, which I have to say is smart, especially this late in the game. But it's interesting because when she needed the Gion alliance, she was all about them. When she wasn't feeling it from them, she was all about Katie and her group. And now she's back over here because she happens to be on this group that won Skull Picks. And so now she's prepared to fire at everyone who's helped her before if she has to. And I just thought that was fascinating. So they're brought in for the elimination tattoo. And guess what? It's another judge's specialty. And it's Ami's specialty. Japanese style tattoos, which traditionally are a disaster on Ink Master. They're a fundamental style of tattoo, but for some reason, people just... And it's kind of like with American traditional. There's just rules that you have to follow with them. And a lot of artists, I think, struggle with rules. So they tend to be very fascinating results on this show. And they're told that all canvases are difficult this week. Everybody wants complicated, random stuff, which automatically aren't going to fit with the traditional Japanese style tattoos. That makes it fun for everyone. And then Dave, Master of Chaos, shows up and says that a special mystery guest judge will show up at any time, which in terms of twists, I've got to say was the most disappointing one of the season so far, and I'm going to circle back to that. But first up, we have our canvases. So first, a Japanese demon woman, and my notes say with the kitchen sink because she listed off all of these things that I honestly couldn't even keep up with when I was taking notes on it. But that went to DJ. A Japanese samurai warrior went to Bob. Japanese Raging God, that went to Tony. Black and gray Japanese food dog, that went to Angel. Full body Japanese dragon, what? That went to Katie, kill shot. Japanese snake and mask, that went to Gion. Japanese crane, that went to Jason. Japanese koi fish, of which he wanted several, and that went to Anthony. So, couple things. So they immediately fire at Katie. That was clearly their main target, which again, I just find interesting because Angel is just on board with that. And man, and it's exactly what Gion's been wanting the whole time. And I knew as soon as she got this tattoo, it wasn't going to go well because I already predicted last breakdown that things weren't looking good for her. And I'll circle back to that also later on in this video. But also, to be fair, everyone is freaking out because, again, the canvases are all difficult. They're all wanting stuff outside of the traditional rules of Japanese style tattoos. So immediately, everyone is negotiating like crazy with all of their canvases, and many succeed, which is great for them. Also, side note, I really liked Joel Madden's outfit during this portion of the episode. I felt it was the best he's looked all season. I thought it was great. And I was actually really happy to see his style pick up a little bit because, again, I just miss my Dave Navarro flair, personally. So the walkthrough with the judges was concerning really across the board. Again, Katie's in danger for sure. But then the guest judge shows up, the big mystery guest judge, which was the twist of the whole episode. And it's Ruby Rose because she has a couple Japanese tattoos. She does have a lot of tattoos in general. So, I mean, if I can sit here and talk about these tattoos in this show, why can't she roll in there and, you know, be a guest judge? But I just thought it was very random. And Ruby Rose seems cool. She has had a lot of professional issues with her past projects, but you know, she's just floating. She's just being Ruby today, and she's just there to have fun judging some tattoos, which, as she also admitted, look better than the Japanese ones she's wearing on her body currently. And that's fine. But I just feel like as a twist to the challenge, with compared to all of the other twists we've seen thrown at them the rest of the competition, I felt this was a fairly easy day. And not really much of a twist that didn't really warrant Dave having to come down and announce it ahead of time. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I just kind of felt like it was a little lackluster. I don't want to say disappointing, but it just wasn't doing it for me. But let's move on and get into the critiques. So, first up was Bob, and it's a good tattoo. I really liked it a lot, and he got amazing critiques. There wasn't a lot to pick apart here, and I thought that was fantastic. Bob's really holding his own still, and that's really cool to see. Angel also did great. This was a great tattoo. I would wear this. And I'm not even interested in having a traditional Japanese tattoo, but she made me want to be, and that was fantastic. I thought she did an amazing job, and she got really great critiques for it, and I think she deserved that. She's having a little bit of a rise herself, and that's cool to see also. Gion's really nice looking. It is massive for some reason, but it's a nice looking tattoo. He got really middle ground critiques, but as we'll see at the scoreboard, he doesn't really need anything else. So it doesn't really matter. He's doing fine. Creepy Jason. First real flub of the season. Again, he was the one who was labeled as the most consistent contestant on this season, and I would agree with that. This, though, is a flub, and it's his first real one, and I definitely agree. I can't say I would wear it, to be honest with you, and he knew it, so I felt bad for Creepy Jason a little bit. Anthony was up next, and it's not a bad tattoo. I'm glad he was able to negotiate with his canvas. The fact that his canvas was a huge fan of his, I think, really helped him here. It's not a bad tattoo. It's not something I'm super into, but it looks great, and he got fairly safe critiques, so he's doing fine. DJ, this was a great tattoo, which is weird because I don't think I would wear it. Again, not my thing, but I couldn't argue with how great it looked, and how good the colors looked, and just how neatly it was drawn, and just how it all came together. I thought this was a really strong tattoo, and he got a lot of great critiques for it, and I thought he deserved it. Tony was up next, and whoa, Tony blew it. I did not like this tattoo. I would not wear it, and I was surprised by it, to be honest with you. Especially because during the walkthrough, he seemed so confident and strong and really like he was kind of back in the game. But again, he's overthinking, and I think it really caught up to him. And then Katie. As soon as I saw it, as soon as it was assigned to her, I knew she was in real danger. And I gotta say, I agree with all the critiques she got. This did come off looking a little messy, even for me, and I'm not a professional tattooer. But I do think comparatively, it's a little weird that she had to do this giant dragon compared to everybody else. But everybody else was able to negotiate their canvases off some pretty steep ledges, and maybe she should have tried harder for that. I don't know, but I knew the writing was on the wall as soon as this popped up, and I love Katie. I love her so much, but she's here again. Here again. People who placed high and got really great critiques and were expected to possibly be in the running to take it were in fact DJ, Bob, and Angel, and I definitely agree with that. But there wasn't even a top two. They weren't even debating against anybody else's. They all clean sweep gave it to DJ. And I can't be mad at that. I think he deserved it. He had a really great tattoo. Either way, I think it definitely deserved tattoo of the day. I can't be mad at that. And it is what it is. Our bottom three were in fact confirmed to be Katie, Tony, and Jason, which I agree completely. Bottom two, as expected, were Tony and Katie, and they fight it out, and I was surprised how close it was, to be honest with you. And for a hot second, I was like, man, they're going to save Katie again. I'm going to be pretty happy because, again, I love me some Katie. And then Joel has to break the tie because she's got 2 votes for her, 2 votes against her, and Joel has to break the tie. And he very quickly broke it. It said Katie was going home. And I felt bad for her. Man, she's fought hard, but I mean, it's hard to argue, though, with how many times she's been in the bottom. It is what it is. I'm going to talk more about it when we get to the scoreboard, but as much as I hate to say it, it was probably her time. And that's how things shook out. So before I talk about how all of the contestants that are left stack up, let's see how people reacted to it on Twitter. It's time for top tweets. So again, here's the point system I use to do my rankings. Take a good look. We are almost done with the season. We only have 2 actual challenges left before that grand finale. And just for the sake of it, why don't you, in the total column, look at how many points Gian has? Okay, like this is why he hasn't earned any points in a while, really. Like nothing major. And he doesn't really need it. He's got such a lead on everybody. He's performed that well in all of the elimination tattoos that he's just beyond everybody right now. Which then brings me to the scoreboard. So, again, this is how things shook out last time, and now here's where we're at. So, again, Gian still in first. He's holding onto that spot. At this point, I don't expect him to lose it, to be honest with you. He's been in first pretty much this entire time. I think it may have been the entire time. And I just don't see him letting it go. And so I just would like us all to mentally prepare ourselves now, because I think it's very likely that he's in the finale, first of all. And I think it's actually quite likely he's the next Ink Master. He's just performing at an unstoppable rate. So I would honestly be a little surprised if he didn't take it this time. So just get on board with the idea now, because I think it's happening. Second place is Bob, which is great for Bob. Bob's still holding his own, although I think he's kind of flying under the radar, but he's actually still performing really well. Angel now has climbed her way to third, which I also think is really great. I would love to see them in the finale, but here's where things get interesting. So Creepy Jason, for example, took a bit of a tumble. He and DJ are now tied for fourth and fifth because DJ actually jumped up a little bit because of his tattoo of the day. And he's been performing very steady and strong since he popped into the competition. I think it could be incredibly likely that DJ also could be in the finale if he keeps climbing the next couple episodes. Anthony now has hopped up to 6th and 7th place along with Tony, because Tony took a little bit dip. But Anthony's been slowly climbing his way back up also, very slowly, but he's doing it. And now Katie has come in 8th place with her elimination, which is where she's been for a little bit, because she's been in the bottom so many times and she has been dead last. So as I've been predicting, with the scoreboard and the point system, her time was coming. She was just struggling really hard to tread water. That's where we're at right now. So what do you think? We only have a couple episodes left. So what do you think? Who do you think is taking the title of Ink Master? Who do you think is the next to go home? And it looks like we're getting another guest judge. So who do you think that's going to be? Which, quite frankly, by the time you watch this episode, the new one will probably air. So you probably already know. So that's probably a dumb question. Which, by the way, I'm trying my best to get these out as early as possible. But I have a lot of life happening right now. Like, me and my family are moving into a new house, which was great because it's a totally new build and it's big and it's great. But it's been a mess leaving the old one we lived in. And we're living at an Airbnb, which is where I'm creating this video from in the meantime, and just all this family stuff is happening. So I'm trying to take care of it and then hopefully get these videos out a little bit sooner as we go through the home stretch, but I'm trying, guys. But I really appreciate you guys. I was really worried people would drop off because of how close to the new episodes I've been putting these up, but I'm really glad you guys are binging them, you guys are watching them, and really keeping up with the conversation with me. And again, the comments I've been getting are just awesome. You guys are fantastic. I love all of you so much. Keep them coming, because it makes my day, and it gives me a reason to stay up late in an Airbnb when my family's asleep to record content for you, and it makes me happy to do it. So thank you. But again, let me know what you think down below. Also subscribe so you don't miss out on the content I'm putting out, and I don't just do shop talk. So if you want to check out any of my other stuff, you can check it out here. I have New stuff in the works also for when Ink Master wraps, so be on the lookout for that. So just make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. And in the meantime, before I see you next, maybe go out and get inked, and then come back here next week so we can do some more shop talk.